Today we look at my favorite film from 2015, the story of a very lonely potato farmer battling a hostile environment in his efforts to survive and be reunited with his family and friends. I mentioned earlier that popular though it was, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, wasn't the best science fiction film of 2015. The best film was, without a doubt, Ridley Scott's The Martian. Director Ridley Scott has created a faithful, if somewhat truncated, version of Andy Weir's 2011 nerdgasm of a novel. Set in the year 2035, the movie follows the life and death struggle of astronaut Mark Watney, who was left behind on Mars, presumed dead, when an emergency forced the exploration team of the Ares 3 to abandon their mission to Mars. The movie shines on two different levels. The first is cinematic. Ridley Scott's direction and Dariusz Wolski's cinematography beautifully realize Mars as a stunning, sweeping, but very, very empty world. Watney's struggle is all the more real because the feeling of isolation is palpable to the audience. The second area of the film that shines is in its authenticity, if not necessarily strict technical accuracy. There's an unfortunate tendency in movies to glorify the everyman, the underdog, or the maverick who, through their own way of doing things, overcomes the shortcomings of the experts. In real life, though, it's not really likely that a used car salesman from Charlotte, North Carolina is going to fight off an alien invasion through plucky grit and determination, where the armed forces of the world fell flat before him. But that's the type narrative that plays well with, well, used car salesmen. The Martian's authenticity shines because Watney, the other astronauts, and the staff at NASA are all highly trained professionals and scientists. The problems encountered are ultimately overcome because they are the experts, not in spite of it. Upon being stranded on Mars and completely without communication to Earth, Watney starts a methodological process of assessing his needs for survival and rescue and begins a planned program of meeting those needs. At the Earth end of the equation, NASA staff begin a similar process. Let's face it, we're not all NASA smart, and conventional movie wisdom says that audiences won't engage with the eggheads, but The Martian proves otherwise. The audience may not understand all of the explanations, but they are engaged. I've seen the film twice in the theater, and both times there have been cheers from the audience when Watney proclaims, "I'm going to have to science the shit out of this." And I don't think it's just because they got some profanity. Matt Damon gives a fine performance as Watney. He believably balances the isolation and the determination of his character, along with the sense of humor that you would probably need to stay sane. If I've any complaints about the film, it would be that while all the supporting cast are very good at their craft, they have all been broken up into slightly stereotypical viewpoints to allow the various conflicting positions to be economically told via dialogue. This slight criticism can't be leveled at the film specifically, though, because it's almost verbatim from the book. I strongly recommend seeing this film, but I also urge you to read the book. Not only is the science more in-depth, but there are several struggles that were left out of the film that make Watney's journey all the more rewarding for the reader. I mentioned that the film was largely faithful to the book. Most of the changes are simply omissions, but there is one change in the climax of the film. It becomes reminiscent of the film Gravity, and that just rubs me the wrong way. I guess they just couldn't entirely resist Hollywoodizing this movie. Well, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Did you see The Martian, or have you read the book? Tell us what you thought in the comments below.